Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm the kind of person that sees someone doing something interesting and cool, and I immediately want to have a go myself. But that's not something you can do, is it? You can't just have a go at everything. Well, if I'm a video production company and I'm making a video, then I can get access to places that lots of people wouldn't normally get access to. So I'm doing that. I'm going to do several cool, weird, and wonderful things, and I'm going to bring you along with me. This is Matt Gray is Trying. And today, I'm starting with some explosives. I am with Will from Titanium. Could you tell us a bit about Titanium Fireworks and what you do here?
Nice to have you here, firstly. So we were formed about 10 years ago after the Olympics, which a lot of us worked on. Titanium was founded as a company, and since then we've done a lot of work, as you can see some of it behind us, but ranging from London New Year, Edinburgh New Year, right down to weddings in the summer to help celebrate people's special days.
I'm just going to pause here a second. What Will's saying sounds very sensible, but it is rather modest. Look how awesome their work is. Yeah, they're bloody good. And Titanium are letting me help out at one of the biggest bonfire night displays in the country. Battersea Park Fireworks, the Fools.
So what have you got for me today? What we're going to be doing?
So what we've got today is we've obviously done our health and safety, just made you aware of everything. What we're going to do in a minute is we'll take you up, look at design, show you how shows are designed and made, all the different types of fireworks. Then we'll take you down into the factory and you can work alongside some of our team in the preparation of fireworks, which obviously you're then going to follow through. And in a few days you'll see on site getting ready to be set off, which you're going to help set up.
That's so cool.
Hope you'll enjoy it.
I remembered that bit.
Meet Georgie and Daryl. They both designed fireworks displays and they're going to show me how they put together the show for Battersea Park. As if that's an actual job.
I'm kind of interested about what happens at the beginning of the process. So if I'm a client that comes to you and says, I'd like a fireworks show, please. I like the big glittery ones and the ones that go whee. Well, what do you do from that kind of request?
We use a software called Finale 3D, and we then position all the effects at certain times. We build up to a grand finale, usually.
It's quite widely used now in the industry. It's specifically designed for fireworks.
Oh, that's really cool. That looks like actual fireworks.
It is. So if I just run through this sequence. So this is the final edited audio track or soundtrack that we use. So you can see the waveform there, the peaks and the troughs, where it's quiet, where it's soft and where it's loud. And then each line here and a dot is effectively a cue where something is fired at that particular moment. So for example, just here you can see that we've got a hit from all 11 positions.
I'm just trying to think how before you had the simulations here, the only way you could plan that show is by having seen all the fireworks. And how they worked before.
You still have to do that, but certainly before this, the only way you could visualise it was in your head.
Yeah.
When it comes to a show like this, or any display really, it's you can't rehearse it. We can only go through the simulation, but until you press that button and the music starts and the first firework lifts, you just don't know whether you got it right or wrong. So there is that element of jeopardy there and stress, definitely. The stress levels are a lot more than most other jobs, I think, at that particular time of the show.
I'm going to assume that this entire display is computer controlled as well as simulated. You control it via computer.
That's correct.
Because running up and individually lighting everything would be a little bit difficult for 5,000 in a show.
It would be, especially if you wanted to fire from 11 positions that are 15 metres apart within 100th of a second of each other. You need a pretty good pair of running shoes on you. But yeah, in a show like Battersea Park, for example, there's, I think, nearly 2,000 cues, individual cues within the 22-minute programme. And then connected to each of those cues is anywhere from one firework to multiples of fireworks. So we've probably got over 5,000 fireworks in the show. So there's an awful lot of information that goes into the design stage, and then once that's finished and we're happy with it, we then create the reports that go into our factory, so then they can pick the fireworks and then sequence everything and put it together.
With 5,000 fireworks in this show alone, it's going to require a hell of a lot of preparation. This is Rachel and Ben. They're going to show me how to assemble shells, the massive, very pretty fireworks that go off high up in the sky.
So we've got our show sheet.
So this is the list of all of the different types of things.
So these are all our codes. So for this one here, it's going to be that number. So we will get our sticker and then Ben will produce this for us.
So I'll take that out of the box. So this is the pipe match, the red bit.
So that's the bit that delivers the charge to set it off.
Yes.
Put these together. This sort of joins it. I'll grab some tape, put that just there. These are E-links, which connect the two bits of pipe match fully together.
Oh, cool. So the electric charge is what ignites something up here,
Yes.
and then the fire goes
Yeah.
down the pipe match.
So once
is that because it's a pipe of fire?
Yep.
And then this is an igniter. This goes in the top of the E-link, folds down, so it's all connected. And then grab some more tape and make sure every single bit's covered. Just so try and make it as neat as possible, so it should look something on the fire.
Oh, that's really cool. Do I get a turn?
You can have a turn.
So on here it says we need another gold coconut,
Yep.
which you've got out for me.
There we go.
So I'll highlight that. Let's see if I get this right first time.
It's very fiddly.
Yeah. And we're going in
And then
that end.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing that converts electricity into fire.
Yes.
Around here?
And then if you stick it around about here and then wrap it over.
That doesn't look particularly neat. Do
Maybe
I need
a
another
little
bit
bit
more
more.
tape? How's that?
Perfect. And then
And then we need to roll it up.
grab that up and then roll it up.
How's that for a first try?
Perfect. You're a natural.
And now we do that another, 500 times?
Yes.
And we've got a show in a box.
Definitely.
Next time I see you, it'll be at the show.
Exactly.
Hello. I tell you what, this is the earliest I've ever turned up for a fireworks show. Today, I get to play with some explosives. They're letting me set out the Battersea Park fireworks. I did actually think on the way here, which I hadn't actually realised, I'm going to get to see a fireworks show tonight. Oh yeah, there's a barrage of people with high vis over there. God, to look the part. Hello. The wristband says Pyro on it. It's like I'm in a band called Pyro. And I'm burning with Pyro. Danger, fireworks, no entry. Now that is a good sign.
Hello, Matt.
Hello.
How are you? Right.
Nice to see you again.
And you, come through. We're very excited to have Matt with us today. We'll make sure that we work him really hard. He's going to have to deserve his spurs on this one, but we'll get him to experience how we're loading some of the shells behind me, the lower level fireworks at the front, and we'll go to the control and we'll go through the testing procedure, and then we'll send him off to go and get some coffees for everybody. These are what we call the big mortar shells. You can see a lot of them already loaded, but in this box we have a couple more.
Oh yeah, those are like the ones that I was setting
That's
up,
correct.
but these are bigger.
Slightly
probably.
larger.
Yeah.
At the bottom here, in this bag, is the lifting shell. It's a bit like the cannonball effect. There's a gunpowder charge there, so you can see that we have an igniter going into this fuse.
Yeah.
The fuse goes into the bottom of the shell.
Yeah.
Explosion. Shell goes up into the sky. It goes probably about 250 metres. And then there's a slow time delay in there that slowly burns, allowing the shell to get to its optimum height before it ignites the bursting charge in the middle, which ignites all the stars inside and gives you the big explosion, and then that's how you get the effect appear. And then 2 seconds later, the next one goes until we're getting that constant effect up in the sky.
Right.
So if I load this one for you first. So, golden rule, never put any part of your body over the tube.
Right.
So we just take the shell, drop it in the tube there, and then we take the igniter, just wrap it around the wood here. So that keeps the igniter in place, because if you don't tie them off, once the show starts, you might end up with other igniters being pulled over the tube, which will then get broken by another shell going over it, and then that way you'll end up with a few live shells
Stop the
left
fireworks
over.
tangling
Correct.
everything,
Yeah. So we just push back the wire, and then we go into the box here. Put the igniter through the hole there and into channel 1, which is just there. So the one you're going to load is going to go into Q2, just there.
Okie dokie.
Okay. If you take the shell out of the box.
I see what you mean. So it's like a sphere with a cone on it.
That's correct.
And that's got the lifting, and that's got
charge.
the pretty bit. Yeah.
That's right, absolutely. So just place it over the tube and drop it in. There we go. Tie the igniter off around there to make it stay in place.
Right.
Just a twist. That's in place. That's fine. Just 2 twists is fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be here all night long at the end of the show de-rigging it, and then go into number 2. Just be aware of the other fireworks behind you.
Oh yeah, I don't want to lean over them, do I?
Okay.
It's one done.
So that's one shell loaded. So we've just got about 700 left to do.
I was going to say, how many are there for this show?
Yeah, there's quite a lot, as you can see. So we start with the 3-inch smaller shells over there. These blue tubes are the 4-inch, orange ones are the 5-inch, and then we got the larger 6-inch shells, which go 300 meters up in the sky over there. By having different caliber shells, you can build on a sequence. So the bigger the shell, the higher it goes, and the bigger the burst. To a crescendo at the end of a sequence where we'll fire all of them together to give you a big, massive canopy of effects in the sky, and then move on to the next sequence.
Cool. Can I do another?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go over this way.
We're going to do the diddy ones.
We'll start on these smaller ones here, the 3-inch, yeah. Show like this, we've got a crew of 14 here today. And we started at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll probably have the shells finished by about 1 o'clock today, hopefully. And then we'll go around and do the front positions.
And how long's the show?
Show's 20 minutes long.
So a full day of setup for 20
full
minutes.
day of setup for 20-minute show. These are probably familiar to you because you would have worked on these in the factory. So we just take one shell at a time. Furthest tube away. Take this end cap off.
Yeah.
And the wires are twisted there, so that shunts it.
Okay.
So that it will create a short, so that they can't, or reduce the risk of it going off accidentally.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It only requires a small voltage, so certainly on big sites like this where the ground could be wet and you might have a generator running, you've always got to be careful of induced current, so you don't leave these trailing on the floor. So you always work on one at a time. So we're on number 12, so this pushes through the hole here. Key 12 is there. So the other thing we have, this is the actual firing module. Effectively, this is the business that controls what igniter is fired when. There's a large capacitor in there that throws out a really high voltage to ignite the firework, and it knows exactly, it's told by the firing computer exactly what cue of 32 to fire at what precise moment in time.
Because I was going to ask about that, because it looks like there's only 2 wires going into it.
It's a digital network, so these are just speaker wires.
Yeah.
And effectively we have 4 outputs that come from control, picking up 56 modules, I think the show is.
Yeah.
And we basically daisy chain about sort of 15, 16 modules on each line, and we spread the modules around so that if you were to lose a line, you didn't lose a whole section. It would just be a slight sporadic part of the show. But
so does that mean fireworks work similarly to lighting using DMX?
It's very similar to DMX.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarity there.
Yeah.
So effectively, we have a module number here. You can see that says 41.
So yes, because this is rack 41. The screen knows
change
it's number
that
41.
to 51, 60, 70, 80, 90, 0. So that's just 1. Back to 41, and
so
there we
that's
go.
how the basic stuff that's just an electrical charge going bang knows that it's number 41,
Exactly.
12 or whatever. You don't want to get the 2 confused and accidentally plug one of them into your lighting system, making all of your lights go bang, bang, bang around the theatre.
Daryl went off to work elsewhere, but apparently he thought I was trustworthy enough to keep loading shells. Albeit under the supervision of Georgie, who would be firing tonight's show.
The funny thing is, watching me do this so slowly when I've seen you lot doing them so fast. So are these made as firework tubes? They are specifically for fireworks? Cool. It's funny to think that there are 50,000 people here tonight and they don't realise some idiot's doing it. See these going off and know that I did a proportion of them. It's kind of exciting, really. Are the ones I've done all right? Last thing I want to do is be causing you more work.
See now when we see the wrong colour shells going off at the wrong time, we'll know. We've got an excuse. It's perfect.
This video does not have a sponsor. I've made it entirely out of my own pocket, but if you'd like to contribute, I do have a Patreon that you're welcome to join. That's all I've got.
So we're now going towards the kind of front area. It's a lot closer to where the humans will be watching it, but still a safe distance away. Whereas the big shells are all the way back there. These are all the foreground elements and the effects. Sparkly stuff.
After getting a little distracted on the way, I met up with the team as they prepared the foreground elements. The setup to this was similar to shells, but they've been able to prepare in advance and mount these single shot charges on a series of plates back in the factory. When in the right position, these get plugged into a firing module and wired all the way back to the control center. They also let me carry over a couple so I could make it look like it actually helped rather than slowed them down.
Oh yeah, green on that side. So this is the cliche moment when the sun is setting and I go, well, everything's nearly set up. What's going to happen next? And I'm going to do that because that's the thing to think about here is they have spent all morning, they've been here since 8 a.m. setting up. I did a little bit. Obviously, I haven't been helping out all day, but they've let me help out a bit and they've got to test all of this somehow. Hundreds of different cues and charges they've got to do. So I'm hearing that testing is coming next. I have no idea how you can test this without firing it. I'm sure there's some kind of electronic thing you can test to see that it's connected, but I don't know, the stakes are still high for it. There's a lot to go right.
Speaking of testing, it's a good job they allowed a chunk of time for it because they found something I'd never expect.
A squirrel has actually eaten through the wire.
Some animal has eaten through
Amazing.
the data.
Terrible,
we were
but
having very bad comm.
Squirrel's eaten through a wire.
With that all sorted, they could get back to the more regular testing.
So Q27's out. So
Okay.
we have an issue, so we now have to go in and work out why it's out. So Q27 is here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like anything's wrong with it, but we will just
Make sure everything's plugged in properly.
make sure everything's plugged in, and then we stand back away of the fireworks. Toby, can you test mod 19?
1927 still failing.
Okay, so we need to work out if it's the igniter or if it's maybe potentially something with the centronic or the pins.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to short it.
Yeah.
So it comes, we can work out if it's going to be the igniter.
You short the connectors on the PCB.
Yes.
And I assume the igniter doesn't look like a short.
No, so
The short looks different, so it'll come up as a short.
No, it'll just come up green. So it says that there, so you short it, it'll come up green, which means then I know that it's the igniter that's the issue.
Yeah.
Toby, could you test 19, please?
19's all green now.
Yeah. So. Okay, so now I'm just going to go, actually, I'm going to go change the igniter out. So if you stay here, I'll quickly go get an igniter. Okay.
So she's tested the cabling all up to this point by putting a short in. So the short means that they can see that the two cables that come in this way are connected together. And the only place where that has happened is here, where that new little bit of wire Georgie's put in has been placed here. So we know everything works up to this point, which means only anything after that is broken. The only thing after that is the igniter. So at this point, the next best thing to do is to swap the igniter, which is what Georgie has run back to the van to go and get. And basically, it's the stage that was done at the factory. We do it again because when you're assembling 700, 1,000 of these things, getting one slightly out is probably quite likely.
We're not stressed. I think we just want to make sure that we get it finished.
You've all certainly got
done.
your concentrating faces on now.
Yes, just because like we want to make sure everything, if there's any big issues, we want to make sure that we're not going to be spending time on this when they're little problems. Toby, can you test mod 19?
Mod 19's all good, thank you, Georgie. So, POS 4 that has 2 queues out. Otherwise, we're nearly there.
So what's next then? Like another few hundred of these and then showtime?
Yeah, we've got a few more queues to fix, and then they will start doing run-throughs with the time code and sound, and everything will be ready on the field.
Cool. So I'll be over to the control station next to see what's happening there then.
See you then.
Cool. I see you've got a whole lot of equipment here.
Yes.
That's what you were using to test it and I assume fire it as well?
Yeah, so these are basically our firing panels. We always have a backup just in case there's any issues or problems. Obviously, working with laptops and electrical components, there's always room for failure, so we always have a backup. So this is the primary, and then that is a duplicate backup.
Okay.
So we have the data cables that run from here out to the first module, and then we daisy chain the modules together off these 4 outputs. So the computer is plugged in here, that's our timecode output. And then when we come to ARM and fire the show, we go through the firing protocol, and then all we need to do is to turn that ARM key on. I'm not going to do it now, but that'll turn on, there'll be a few beeps, and then we'll know that it's all ready to go. And then the way the show's actually triggered, we go through an arming procedure, and then we have a time code input, so just an XLR cable there goes into our time code input. We're using SIMT because we're also running the lighting desk as well at the same time. So then the fireworks and the lighting is all synchronized with the music, which is being played back by Matt behind me.
And the time code is, so then you've told this to start doing its thing at 1 minute in. Yeah. And then the lights know to do the thing at 1 minute in. So if they're all got the time code, they know that it's 1 minute.
Exactly that. So yeah, the time code is basically a way to trigger everything together and to remain in sync with each other and with the music.
So that'll mean that there isn't just like a fireworks go button. There's just a time code go button that starts the whole performance.
It's a play button just there on the playback device.
Yeah. So there's no, like when they do like Christmas light switch on.
There's no big plunger.
You've got no big plunger.
It's not quite as dramatic as that.
You press go, sit back and wait for the computer to know it's time.
Yeah, we just leave it all to Matt and then it's his fault if it doesn't work.
And he's not even here to do the fireworks.
No, quite.
Great.
So once the show's all armed and we're receiving time code, just to make sure and give us peace of mind that everything's working, we have our test module. So you can see the first 32 cues are all tests.
Yeah.
The first one goes over 3 seconds, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way through to the
And that's going to light up some lights over here so you can tell that it's working.
So that's a test. There's an LED red light that'll flash each time. So as soon as the show's running, I can sit there, see that light flash and know that it's all connected properly and working and that we haven't made a mistake in our procedure to arm the system. So,
and if that one's working, then there's a reasonable chance that the fireworks will work.
Yeah. So as soon as the show's running, the SIMT's coming, the first thing we all do is look at that.
Right, yeah.
So if you see the red light flashing there, then we can have a warm, fuzzy feeling that it's going to work. If it's not, then it will be chaos. Right, we've got a hard decision. We're going at 25 past. So you will press play at 24, please.
That's 7 minutes.
Yeah, receive, mate.
Have you done this enough times to not get nervous?
I still get nervous. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Even on a small show, you just still get nervous because you don't know until the first firework goes, everything's going to work fine. We test, but yeah, it never gets rid of that.
How are we feeling? Have we wrapped this up enough? Is everyone excited?
Oh, they are excited.
The time is nearly here. We are just getting in the last few people. There are 50,000 people coming into the park this evening. The last few are coming just through the end of the gates. We are now shut the gates. That is it. Once we get the okay,
lots and you're not getting out.
We're all independently looking at our clocks going 2 minutes.
He's the one that's just going to say, right, I'm going to press go, I assume.
Tell house ride receiving.
Minute and a half I make it, Matt.
Crunch time.
So it'll take a while for them to charge up.
Channel, Toby, you got channel B selected on the switch?
Well, yeah, and the whole thing's on, yeah. And I'll
Right, 30 seconds.
15 seconds.
So he presses go. We see time code on there, which is then going to control this.
Yes. So you'll hear this time code come through in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There's time code running there. There, running.
Z test.
Z test is
See
flashing.
red lights there, yeah.
Okay, we're all armed. So now you can see you've got the amber light at the bottom telling you what's next. And then as it scrolls up, it goes red. So when that blue clock gets to 57, the first shell will lit. Stand by, everybody. We're live and running. Show is in 10 seconds.
Here we go. So a green blink mixed case. It's been sent. Oh, there they go. Oh, that is so cool. You can see them all selected at once and all the things that are going to fire at once. I tell you what, this is very cool in here, but I think I'm going to go outside and have a look as well.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Let's go.
As much as I would love to show you the whole performance, it's timed to music, and trying to license all of that to play here without the video being taken down is a battle I do not have the energy to start, especially when so much of it was from Disney. So instead, here's the best montage we could put together of a fireworks show that I helped make.
Do you enjoy that?
That was brilliant, thank you.
Good. Well,
Thank
unless
you
you're in the
so
middle.
much.
It's a pleasure.
This has been great fun. Never mind the fact I've had a film crew here. I've wanted to do this forever anyway.
That's fine. Well, any excuse.
Yeah, and hell, maybe next season if you're short some people,
Absolutely,
I'll come back.
yeah. Well, you know how to rig and not wire an igniter now.